I said I won't treat him. Find someone else. The words land like a slap, sharp and undeniable. The beeping monitors, the rustling of paperwork, all fall silent. Monica stares at Nurse Karen, heart hammering against her ribs. David's chest rises in shallow, uneven gasps. His fingers twitch against the hospital bed, skin clammy. Monica's voice cracks. He can't breathe. You have to help him. Karen doesn't flinch. Arms folded, she barely glances at David before turning away. I don't have to do anything, she mutters. A murmur ripples through the ER eyes dart between Karen and the struggling man. A security guard shifts near the entrance. A receptionist taps nervously on her keyboard. No one moves. Monica swallows back a sob. This can't be happening. This isn't real. She grips the bed railing as David wheezes, his body tensing in pain. If they won't act, then she will. Monica lunges forward, gripping Karen's arm. Please, he's dying. Someone help him. Karen jerks away, eyes flashing with irritation. Don't touch me. Monica's breath catches. She spins toward the other nurses, eyes bleeding. A few glance up hesitating, but none step forward. You see what's happening? You know this is wrong. Her voice wavers, but desperation fuels her words. Lisa, a young intern, shifts uncomfortably. Her hands tremble at her sides, eyes flicking between Monica and Karen. For a second, Monica thinks she might speak, but Lisa bites her lip, looking away. A heavy silence settles over the room. Nurses avoid eye contact. The receptionist busies herself with paperwork. A doctor briskly walks past, head down, pretending not to notice. Monica's throat tightens. They know. They all know. Lisa's fingers tremble at her clipboard. Her knuckles turn white, her breathing uneven. Monica's gaze locks onto hers. Say something, please. Lisa inhales sharply, but then nothing. Her lips part, then press into a thin line. Her eyes drop to the floor. A wave of helplessness crashes over Monica. How can they just stand there? David lets out a strangled gasp. I want your supervisor. Now. Monica's voice shakes, but her stance is firm. Karen raises a brow. Then slowly she smirks. Good luck with that, she says, folding her arms. Monica blinks. Did she just laugh? Excuse me. Karen leans in slightly. You think anyone's coming to save you? To save him? She gestures vaguely at David. Go ahead, complain. Waste your time. Monica grips the railing, fury rising in her chest. A few patients whisper from their seats. A woman clutches her child closer. Someone shifts uncomfortably. Karen's smile lingers, daring Monica to challenge her. David convulses slightly, his fingers tightening around the bed railing. His breath comes in ragged, shallow bursts. Monica's stomach twists. He's getting worse. You're killing him, she whispers, voice breaking. Karen shrugs. Not my problem. A tremor runs through Monica's hands. Fear gives way to something else. Rage. If they won't help, they will watch. They will answer for this. She wipes her tears and straightens her shoulders. Fine. Her voice hardens. If no one will help my husband, then the world will see this for what it is. Monica's fingers fumble for her phone. The screen lights up as she hits record. This is my husband, David Carter, and this hospital is refusing to treat him. Karen's smirk fades. A security guard steps forward. Monica grips her phone tighter. Say it again, Karen. Say you won't treat him. Mr. Carter, you changed my life. The words echo in Monica's mind. She's heard them from students, parents, even strangers who crossed paths with her husband. David Carter isn't just a teacher. He's a mentor, a role model, the man who stays after school to help a struggling student, who buys supplies for kids whose families can't afford them. But none of that matters here. Now, he's just another black man fighting for his life in a hospital that doesn't see him. His breath rattles shallow and uneven. Monica grips his hand. They don't care who you are, but I do. And I won't let them do this to you. Monica has never been one to stay silent. She wasn't raised that way. She's called out racism before. At work, in stores, in schools. But this is different. Not my husband, not today. Her voice is steady, but her heart pounds. She scans the nurse's station, her gaze locking onto Karen, the woman who just refused to help David. You will treat him. Now. Karen exhales, exasperated. Ma'am, we're doing our best. No, you're not. Monica's voice sharpens. You looked at him and decided he wasn't worth saving. But he is. Monica has heard stories about this hospital before. Whispers in the community about delayed treatment, about black patients being sent home only to collapse hours later. She never thought she'd be living it. If he were a white man, you wouldn't hesitate. Karen scoffs. We follow protocol for everyone. Monica's jaw tightens. That word, protocol, a neat little excuse wrapped in bureaucracy. She glances around the ER. A white patient across the room has 3 nurses tending to him. Another is wheeled into surgery without delay. The truth is right in front of her. Your protocol is killing him. Karen tilts her head. Are you accusing me of something? Her voice is calm, practiced. She's been here before, always towing the line, but never crossing it in a way that could get her fired. Monica sees right through it. I don't need to accuse you. Your actions speak for themselves. Karen shrugs. If you don't like the care here, feel free to take him somewhere else. Monica's stomach twists. That's the game, isn't it? Delay, deflect, push them out until it's too late. David's breath shudders. Monica's hands ball into fists. You don't get to decide who lives and who dies. His breathing is getting worse. He needs help. Monica's voice is sharp with urgency. Karen flips through David's chart, her expression indifferent. She glances at his trembling body, at the way his chest rises and falls unevenly, then lets out a slow breath. Are you sure it's that serious? Monica's stomach twists. Did she really just say that? David gasps, his fingers tightening around the sheets. Look at him, Monica snaps. He can barely breathe. Karen shrugs. Some patients panic and make it seem worse than it is. A fire ignites in Monica's chest. This isn't panic. It's real. And if you don't do your job, my husband could die. Karen sighs, glancing up from the chart. Has he taken anything today? Monica blinks. What? Any substances? Drugs? Alcohol? The words hit like a slap. Are you serious right now? My husband is a school teacher. Karen's lips twitch, but she doesn't apologize. Instead, she flips another page. And does he have insurance? Monica's fists tighten. She sees it now. The assumptions, the dismissiveness. Oh, I get it. Her voice is cold. You think he's some uninsured addict looking for a free ride? Karen doesn't deny it. Monica leans in, voice steady. You don't see a patient. You see a stereotype. A voice hesitant. Maybe we should prioritize him. Lisa, the intern. Monica's heart lifts just for a second, but Karen turns, eyes sharp. Lisa. Her tone is clipped. We have protocols. Follow them. Lisa swallows hard. Her fingers twitch at her side. Monica meets her gaze, silently pleading. You know this isn't right. Lisa hesitates. Then she looks away. Karen smirks. That's what I thought. Hope drains from Monica's body. The message is clear. Karen runs this floor, and no one is willing to challenge her. Monica grips the edge of David's bed, her pulse thundering. This isn't a misunderstanding. This isn't about being too busy or short-staffed. Karen made a decision the moment she looked at David. Monica's voice shakes. You're refusing to treat him. Karen doesn't even blink. Ma'am, I've already explained. No. Monica's breath shudders. You looked at my black husband and decided he didn't matter. Karen tilts her head. If you don't like it, you're welcome to take him somewhere else. Monica's stomach drops. David doesn't have time to go somewhere else. She scans the room, heart pounding. Nurses glance at each other. Some shift uncomfortably. Others keep their eyes glued to their screens. No one speaks. Lisa won't even look at her. Monica's throat tightens. You all see this. Her voice is thick with rage. And you're letting it happen. Nothing, just silence. And in that silence, Monica hears the answer. Karen isn't the only problem. The real danger is all of them. David gasps, his body jerking, fingers clutching at his chest. Monica's breath catches. No more waiting. No more pleading. She reaches for her phone, hands shaking. If you won't help, the world is going to see this. Karen's smirk falters. Monica's voice hardens. And when my husband survives, we're coming for every single one of you. Karen takes a step back, arms crossed, voice loud enough for the entire room to hear. I don't feel safe treating him. Monica freezes. What? Karen exhales dramatically, shaking her head. He's getting aggressive. David is barely conscious. His body's limp, his breathing shallow. The only thing aggressive is the way his chest struggles to rise. Monica's fury spikes. You're lying. He can't even sit up. Karen doesn't look at her. Her gaze flickers to the nurses, the patients, the security cameras. I need backup, she says, speaking into the air. Gasps ripple through the waiting area. A man in a corner mutters, Did she really just say that? Monica's hands shake. She's seen this before. The shift, the way black men go from victims to threats in an instant. And she knows what happens next. The heavy thud of boots. 2 security guards appear, eyes scanning the room. Ma'am, one of them says, looking at Monica, we need you to calm down. Her breath catches. Her? My husband is dying and she's refusing to help. I'm not the problem here. The second guard steps forward. We understand, but if you don't lower your voice, we'll have to ask you to leave. Monica laughs, sharp, humorless. You're joking, right? You should be removing her. She points at Karen. She's the one refusing to do her job. Karen folds her arms, looking smug. I don't make the rules, ma'am. Monica's pulse pounds. If they take her away, David will be alone, and she refuses to let that happen. A commotion at the front desk. A white man stumbles in, clutching his stomach. Sir, let's get you seen right away, a nurse says, ushering him toward the back. Monica watches in stunned silence. No hesitation, no questions, no waiting. She looks at David, still gasping, still ignored. A sharp laugh bubbles out of her. So that's how it works, huh? She says, voice shaking. He gets help instantly, but my husband has to fight for air? The nurse doesn't respond. The white man glances at David, then at Monica. He shifts uncomfortably. Maybe he should go first. The nurse shakes her head. He'll be fine to wait a little longer. Monica's vision blurs with rage. Somebody help him. Monica's voice cracks through the waiting room. Eyes dart away. Some watch, but no one moves. Please, she begs, desperation swallowing her pride. I have kids. They can't lose their father. He's a good man, a teacher. He helps people. David gasps again. Monica grips his hand, terror crawling up her throat. I'm begging you. A mother in the corner clutches her child closer. A man shifts uncomfortably. Lisa, the intern, looks sick. But Karen? Karen just smirks. A new voice cuts through the tension. What the hell is going on in here? A doctor storms in, eyes narrowing at the scene. His gaze lands on David. Why hasn't this man been treated? No one answers. The doctor turns to Karen. I asked you a question. Karen falters for the first time. I was following protocol. Protocol. His voice sharpens. He's in respiratory distress. Lisa swallows hard. Monica grips David's hand tighter. Finally, someone sees it. But is it too late? Monica's hands tremble as she presses play. Karen's voice fills the room. I don't feel safe treating him. Gasps. Monica's voice follows, laced with fury. You looked at a dying black man and saw a threat. The weight of truth settles over the room. Karen's face drains of color. Silence then. She refused to treat him because he's black. Lisa's voice cuts through the air, shaking but firm. Karen spins around. Lisa? No. Lisa squares her shoulders. I won't be silent anymore. And just like that, everything shifts. The doctor's nostrils flare as he spins to face Karen. Explain this. Now. Karen stiffens. I was just following protocol. Protocol? His voice is razor sharp. You mean the kind where a critically ill man is ignored while others waltz in and get immediate care? The silence in the room is deafening. Monica steps forward, voice shaking with controlled fury. She refused to treat him. She stood there and watched my husband struggle for air. And when I begged for help, she called security on me. The doctor's jaw tightens. He turns to Lisa. Is this true? Lisa hesitates for only a second before nodding. She said she didn't feel safe, Lisa whispers. But he never even moved. A muscle twitches in the doctor's cheek. Unbelievable, he mutters, his rage simmering just beneath the surface. Karen's eyes dart around the room. I never refused to treat him, she blurts out. I was waiting for the proper clearance. Hospitals have rules. Monica cuts her off. You didn't wait for anything. You just decided his life wasn't worth saving. Karen scoffs. Oh, come on. You're twisting my words. This is a misunderstanding. She's just emotional. Monica's blood boils. Emotional? She steps closer. You looked at my dying husband and decided he wasn't a priority. That's not a misunderstanding. That's racism. Karen throws up her hands. I was doing my job. No, the doctor snaps. You were abusing your position. Karen opens her mouth to argue. But then, Monica pulls out her phone. Monica presses play. Karen's own voice echoes through the room. I said I won't treat him. Find someone else. The waiting area falls into a stunned silence. Karen's face drains of color. That's not what? Not real. Monica's voice is ice cold. Because we all just heard it. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. A woman in the corner shakes her head. A man whispers, wow. The doctor exhales sharply. Well, that's all I need to hear. Karen looks around, panic creeping into her expression. This is being blown out of proportion, she insists. You don't know the pressure we're under. But no one is listening anymore. The truth is out. And then, the door swings open. Mr. Langley steps inside, eyes scanning the room. The tension is thick, pressing in from all sides. What is going on here? His voice is measured, but the weight behind it is unmistakable. Karen opens her mouth, but the doctor speaks first. We have a serious problem. He gestures toward Monica. Her husband was denied care, intentionally. Mr. Langley's gaze settles on Karen. Is this true? Karen swallows hard. I was just following hospital guidelines. The doctor folds his arms. Number you were deciding who deserves to live. Mr. Langley's expression remains unreadable. Then he speaks. A man in the waiting room clears his throat. I saw everything. Another voice joins in. She refused to treat him, and when his wife fought back, security was called on her. More murmurs. A woman shakes her head. She let him suffer. Karen's breath quickens. Monica tightens her grip on her phone. How many times has this happened before? Mr. Langley sighs, rubbing his temple. He turns to Karen. Come to my office now. Karen flinches. Sir, please, this isn't... Not here. His voice is firm, unyielding. Now, Karen swallows hard. The doctor exhales. Monica doesn't move. David is still struggling for breath. And the fight isn't over yet. We need a crash cart in here now. The doctor's voice is sharp, cutting through the chaos as David is wheeled away. His breathing is shallow, his body unnervingly still. Monica grips his hand, her heart pounding. I'm right here, baby. Stay with me. The flurry of motion swallows him whole. A nurse gently pulls Monica back. We'll do everything we can. But that isn't enough. It should have never come to this. Tears burn her eyes, but she doesn't let them fall. Instead, she turns, searching for the one person responsible. Karen is gone, but this isn't over. Not by a long shot. Mr. Langley flips through the pages, his expression grim. Karen's file isn't just a record. It's a graveyard of ignored warnings, unfiled reports, patients who never got the care they needed, nurses who tried to speak up but were dismissed. This was never just one incident, he mutters. Lisa swallows hard. She did this before, didn't she? He exhales slowly. And we let it happen. A bitter silence settles between them. Then he closes the folder. Not anymore. You don't belong in this hospital. Karen stares at Mr. Langley, her face pale. Sir, please. No. His voice is final. You put a man's life at risk. You called security on his wife instead of doing your job. And this? He lifts the folder. This tells me it was never a mistake. The room is deathly quiet as security steps forward. You can leave, or they'll escort you out. Karen's breath shudders, but there's no sympathy left for her. As she turns, whispers ripple through the staff. Justice is finally catching up. Monica's video spreads like wildfire. Headlines explode. Black man denied medical care. Hospital caught covering up racism. News stations replay the footage. Social media ignites. The hospital is flooded with calls, demanding change. People share their own stories. Hashtags trend. Protests spark outside. For once, silence isn't winning. Monica watches it all unfold, fingers trembling as she scrolls. They see it now, David, she whispers. The world sees it. But awareness isn't justice. Not yet. Lisa sits before a news camera, hands clasped together. I knew the truth, and I stayed quiet. She exhales. Not anymore. She recounts everything. How she froze. How fear silenced her. Racism isn't just what Karen did. It's what happens when we let it slide. Her voice is steady now. I won't be silent again. And millions listen. David's breathing steadies. His fingers twitch. Monica exhales for what feels like the first time in hours. But as relief washes over her, she knows. This wasn't just about her family. It's about every black patient ignored, every voice dismissed. She squeezes David's hand. We won this fight. Monica's fight wasn't just about David. It was about every person who's ever been silenced, dismissed, or ignored. So now ask yourself, if you were in her shoes, how would you have responded? Would you have spoken up, fought back, or hesitated, unsure of what to do? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because conversations like this matter. This wasn't just a story. It's reality for far too many people. Have you or someone you know ever faced discrimination in healthcare? Were you treated differently because of race, background, or assumptions? Share your experiences below. Your voice could help someone else feel seen and bring more awareness to this issue. Racism in healthcare won't change unless we keep talking about it. If this story moved you, don't let it stop here. Like, share, and subscribe to help spread awareness. And most importantly, stay informed, speak out, and support those fighting for justice. Because no one should ever have to fight this battle alone.